alleged YSL members, but he wasn't interested.
I did my time like a man.
Hudson says DA Fonnie Willis has mentored him since he was a young prosecutor.
She's my big sister, and I love her a lot.
And he's going to plead Murphy's cause to her, but he knows he's fighting an uptick in crime.
I just want the younger kids to know no matter what you did, whatever you think you're a part of, you're bigger than that, and you can overcome it.
Were you a founder of YSL?
No comment.
What's going on, y'all? This is a lot of people telling me I should do a video, man. They know I did a Tekashi 6ix9ine video, me being from Brooklyn and all that. But I also feel that, you know, it's different right now. You know, when I did that Tekashi 6ix9ine video, it was more like we was at damn near at the end stages of everything when people were they wasn't even witnesses. They was on the stand, you know. So, you know, we're not even, to me, in my opinion, we're not near that stage to where we could really push a narrative, you know. You probably could see something in the media and get persuaded by the media like, oh yeah, damn, he did this, they did that, you know, XYZ. You know, everything I try to post on my channel is factual, you know. Is he a snitch? I really don't, you know, I don't see him being a snitch right now at the moment. It's certain perspectives that we could take into consideration. You know, it's probably two perspectives that we could take into consideration on if Gunna is a snitch, if blah 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 is a snitch. But to my knowledge, nobody's on the stand yet. You know, everything that's according to the alpha plea, everything that's used in court in that video that we seen is really not you know, he's not on the stand, you know, talking about specifying what crimes was committed and XYZ. And in order for anybody to take a plea deal, they had to admit to a wrongdoing, or there's no plea deal. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are like, oh, dang, he said it was a gang. You know, if he didn't say it was no gang, or if he didn't say of no wrongdoing, he wouldn't be able to accept the plea. You know, but I understand the perspective. Don't get me wrong. I understand the perspective. A lot of people are like, oh, he should never said nothing. Well, if y'all want to feel that way, y'all all are entitled to your opinion, and leave any opinion that y'all have, leave it in the description after I'm finished with this video. You know, I want to preface this video by saying, you never know what nobody's going through, so just don't prejudge something that hasn't happened as of yet. You know. So the guy on the left right here, that's Walter Murphy, right? And he's a big deal in the YSL indictment, you know, because he's considered one of the co-founders. You know, a lot of people don't talk about this guy. They're more focused on, oh, the rappers and the famous people, but you gotta know who this guy is too, because when it comes to taking a stand, his testimony is way more influential than anybody that I know of so far in the case, because he said that YSL was created in 2012 and he's claiming to be the co-founder of YSL, you know, and that would bring us back to he could bring us back to where it began, you know? He could bring us back to where YSL began. It's a lot of things he could talk about based on his prior convictions that influenced the whole court case, you know? So, all right, let me tell you about this guy, all right? So according to court transcripts, his name is DK, by the way. You know, in 2013, he was convicted of a crime. You know, I think he robbed somebody. He had a gun. He had a firearm, whatever the case may be. It was he received some time. It's like he received how much years they said he received. Let me see. Yeah, it was it was called the alpha plea too. He took an alpha plea, and he was given 7 months time served, and only served 18 months in prison, while the other remaining of his sentence would be probation. So again, he robbed somebody. I think they tried to get away from the police. Yeah, they tried to get away from the police, but ended up getting caught in the process. And the guy on the left, he ended up getting shot. And later on, he was taken into custody. So that's one. I'm not been done. That's one conviction that he had under his belt. That's one conviction that he had under the belt. And the next conviction that he had was when he pled guilty. And he was sentenced to 25 years, and he did 8 years in prison, 12 on parole, 12 on probation, and the remainder of his sentence was suspended. So I think that's 18, 12, 5 years of the sentence suspended. So with that situation, it's more severe. He ended up shooting somebody in the head, and they ended up losing a large part of their skull, but they survived the incident. That's probably why he didn't get even more time. But again, man, you see, like, he's the reason he's getting so less of a sentence is because he's talking. He's talking and just saying, look, man, he accepting plea after plea. Yeah, my bad, had something popped up. And yeah, remember what I said about the 2015 case of DK, right? Think about it like this. DK, he did 8 years. He got 8 years off of that 2015 conviction, right? 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, right? Jail time. Let's do jail time. It's less, right? So look, he took a plea deal. They're like, "Dad, he got 8 years. That's a lot of years." For what he did, the crime that he committed, that was sweet. Why he got so little years? I don't know. But the prosecution probably like, yo, you remember what you told us when we gave you that 8 years? You know what I mean? We blessed you with that 8 years. Let's talk about this this thing that you spoke to me about. About this this case right here. This YSL case. Because at the end of the day, it's not a coincidence that he just came home and that's when he decided to sweep up Young Thug and YSL and everybody else, because now that he's out, he could take the stand, I'm not too sure of something that he said so he could come to court, but I feel like they felt that the best way to do it would be, you out now, remember what you told us. Let's try to go further with this, because the reason you got so less of a time in that 2015 case is because you gave us information that bettered your situation. You shooting somebody in the head was less severe about this conviction, this YSL conviction, this YSL indictment. That could be a perspective that y'all could think about. I'm putting everything in perspective. I'm just a YouTuber at the end of the day, but it's a possibility that could be the case. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. And in this most recent case right here, he basically got 9 years of probation. He got 9 years of probation and 1 year time served. Think about that. And he's out. So he has a track record of letting police know things that's really going on. So we all get, now I want to speak about Gunna, we all get fascinated about Gunna. Like, not fascinated, but we understand he's a rapper, and we understand that, he he was recorded in the courtroom saying things like YSL's a gang, in order to be accept a plea deal for a Rico case of racketeering, you gotta admit that there was a gang, you know. Um, Murphy got convicted on. Murphy took the plea on Tuesday. Gunner took the plea on Wednesday. See, look how the prosecutor plays it out too. Murphy took a plea on Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am.
Gunner took a plea on Wednesday, and Doug had a court date on Thursday. With that being said, it's all that's just how things play out. But back to Gunner now, we could look at his scenario from two perspectives. I'm not going to judge him and say he's X, Y, Z, he's that and the third, because I already know a lot of people really got their own opinions on it, and I really don't, really try to push any narrative that to me hasn't been established yet. But from perspective one, you could say that Gunner could say two things. He could have said two things. He could have said two things, and one thing he did say, of course. But he could have said, I got no knowledge of that YSL is a gang. I have no knowledge of YSL committed a crime, and that I have no knowledge of these occurrences, and I can't accept the plea. You could say that. Will it make the case stronger? I doubt it. I don't know. I don't know if it'll make the case stronger. But it'd have been a like, oh, dad, yeah, he's solid. He's solid. If he did that, I'd have been like, dad, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you only know what you put out there. You know what I'm saying? If you want to say you could have heard something happened, but I don't know nothing about that. I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? XYZ. Because in his court testimony, or in his forgot what you call it. In his he said in his court testimony, let's call it that. He said, "Look, I became a YSL member in 2016. The argument of Young Thug is that." Young Thug was arguing this argument. I don't know if his argument still is, but it was like, yo, YSL's a record label. What y'all talking about? Y'all tweaking. YSL's a record label. That's what the argument was. It's not a gang, it's a record label. You know what I'm saying? He is the only artist that's in the racketeering indictment that could say, yeah, YSL's a record label. He's the only artist that could say that. There's no other artist that's in the racketeering case, to my knowledge, that's in that courtroom or behind in the jails or whatever you want to call it. So, being that he said what he said, it's more like, damn, that's what we was really, that's the narrative we really was pushing. So if you say, okay, YSL's a gang now, the defense is going to have can't really, I ain't gonna say can't argue, because come on, they lawyers at the end of the day. But the defense really is like, dang, now what we gonna say now? Because he really said that he's the only artist that we got in YSL. We got Murphy that accepted the plea deal on Tuesday. He's not a part of a record label. So if he says it's a gang, then it holds weight like, oh, it's a gang. But if Gunner says it's a gang, and he was on a record label, it's more like, dang, man, it's a different story now. You know what I mean? Because what we gonna stand on now? What we gonna stand on? We can't really push that narrative. You know what I'm saying? But again, like I keep saying, that the lawyers of Young Thug really have, Young Thug has a lot of money. He buys the best attorneys. He pays for the best attorneys. So let's see how that goes. Perspective two with Gunner's situation is that he could have said, like, because he did say it, as a matter of fact, he said YSL is a gang. And his argument could be like, yo, man, everything is documented, It's not like, because if you're going to admit to a crime, not really admit to a crime, if you're going to say, yeah, it might be a gang, I think it's a gang, yeah, based off of evidence that's already out there in the public. Because like I told you about DK criminal history, everything is already out there. You know, everything is not like you can't find these things out by looking at court documents and doing some research. You know, so everything's already out there. So he could say, remember what he said in the courtroom? He said, YSL is a gang. You know, at the end of the day, his argument is DK shot somebody. He don't got to say all these things because it's already out there. But his argument is YSL is a gang off the strength that somebody got shot in the head, and he was claiming what the person that shot the person was claiming YSL, XYZ. He robbed somebody. He shot somebody. He got shot. He got YSL tatted on his forehead. He did a lot of criminal activity. At the end of the day, it's a bad look. I know what y'all thinking. Like, yeah, man, it's a bad look, but it's already out there. But he has to deal with the repercussions of what the media thinks, what the world thinks. His career is, I don't know if it's gonna be as solid. We're gonna have to find that out. But we gotta see if he takes the stand. We gotta see when Young Thug comes home. If he comes home, I'll be surprised if he gets like 15 years of 15 years of probation and 2 years time served or something like that, you know? I'd be surprised if that's the situation. Another thing I wanted to say, yeah, Walter Murphy is a big deal, man. He plays because at the end of the day, what the prosecution could be leaning on is, could they prove that Murphy has a connection with his previous criminal history, that he was like paid off by Young Thug and Young Thug paid him off to do this, do that? Because Murphy, to my knowledge, he gonna talk. To me, I shouldn't say that, man. I'm gonna recant that, man. I don't know what's gonna happen, but Murphy has the most knowledge. He's like I don't know how to put this, but he's like he could give a lot of background on the origins of YSL, you know? So he's going to have to, in order for the prosecutors to win, they're going to have Murphy or somebody that knows a lot about YSL to be like, this happened. Okay, Young Thug paid you, really? Really? Oh, we don't have no history. We don't have no track record of that. Could y'all explain to the judge in the courtroom how this transaction was made? And he pull out his phone, probably be like, yeah, well, he deposited this on that day, XYZ, blah blah blah, and you know, it's gonna be a tough situation for Young Thug, but we're gonna have to see how this really plays out, man. I'm just speculating at the end of the day. Just keep that in mind too. You know, anything could be anything at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm definitely just speculating too. But y'all already know what to do. Ain't really nothing new. Alright, guys.